Good evening and welcome to a rather confused Craig Goes Cycling video tonight. I did what I thought was just a joke little Instagram reel a couple of nights ago when I was on a group ride on Zwift with Amy Hudson from Amy's Cycling Adventures and her husband Kyle. The two ran this group ride. And we were sort of joking in the group chat about, our legs were tired because we'd been dropped on the Vela Bavarian group ride on the Sunday. So halfway through the ride, a little idea came to me, and at the end of the ride, I thought, do you know what? Let's do this. It'll be a little joke. Amy and Carl might get a little bit of a laugh out of it, and that was it. So basically, I just got a bottle of wine, a bag of Doritos, set my camera up, and then sat at the side of my bike. And because on their group ride, those of you know Zwift, you may know about the elastic band effect that they have on there when you set a group ride up. That no matter how many watts you're putting out, the whole group will stay together. So my little joke was that you could put out as few watts as you want and still go on the group ride, even if your legs are absolutely killing. And I was just sitting there on the floor, drinking wine, eating Doritos, and turning the pedals with my hand. I thought, I put it as an Instagram story, tagged them in it. They thought it was quite amusing. Following morning, I thought, you know what, it's a bit of a shame for that video just to die after 24 hours on a story. So I thought I'll just save it and I'll just post it as a reel. Might get 100 likes or something, and yeah, just that was it. 30 hours later, I'm on 12,000 views. I've absolutely no idea how it managed to take off like that. I've not boosted the post. I only had about 30 or 40 followers before I posted it. But something's happened, and yeah, I've just watched the views go up and up and up. And in the 35 minutes it took me to drive home, it went from 6,000 to 8,000. We're now about an hour and a half later, and it's on nearly 12,000 views. So I'm a little bit confused. I'm very humbled. I think it's great, but now I feel kind of under pressure that have I got to keep creating this kind of content that's going to get that kind of views? I mean, I've got no idea how I'm ever going to do that again, because I don't have that many funny ideas. So I'm just going to do what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, just doing a few videos, just showing myself how things are going. I didn't take any videos on the group ride on Vela Bavarian ride on Sunday. Basically, I tried to use the GoPro camera on the front of my bike and it snapped off the mountain and it all went wrong. So there's nothing really from that. But tonight it's a critical power test. So my coach, Sally Carter, she's got me, wants me to do the critical power test tonight. So I've got my bike, we're set up there, ready to go. Zwift is open. So I'm going to get on the bike and see how much I hurt in an hour's time, and then we'll come back and have a little chat, and then let's have a laugh, see how many views are on this Instagram video, and I'll put the link to it just down below. And if you think you find it funny, if you think it's amusing, then fair enough, give me a like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. Cheers, we'll see you in a bit. So here we go, starting off with the first 3-minute warm-up session at 120 watts. Then we ramp up every 3 minutes to 145 watts, then 170, 195 watts, before then going into the first sort of big session at 3 minutes at 305 watts. Legs are feeling pretty good just now. We'll see how we feel shortly.
I wanna know what's your name. I think you're nice. One more round, it's all I need. 'Cause I'm in love. What's your name?
So here we go, the first section at 3 minutes at 305 watts is coming up. Legs are feeling really good. Let's go, let's do this. So we skip forward a little bit here. I've had my 30 minutes recovery. Legs are still feeling pretty good. We're about to go into the 12-minute block at 300 watts. Not really sure how my legs are going to hold up to this. I managed to hold that for 5 minutes last time. Let's try and do a little bit more this time. So we're 4 minutes into this 12-minute block now, and as you can see by that little picture in the corner, bottom left-hand corner, the hat's off, the jersey's undone, and it was also at this point that I realised my fan was on setting number 1, not setting number 3, so no wonder I was overheating. I'm not doing too bad, 4 minutes into it, holding 300 watts, feeling relatively comfortable. but I'm hoping that I can just keep pushing on and get that more than 5 minutes than I did last time. Hoping to try and hold it for 6 minutes. I'll get to 6 and just see how I feel after that. But at the moment, I'm not feeling too bad. Well, this is me now. I'm absolutely done. I've done 7 minutes at 300 watts, 2 minutes more than I managed on the last time, so I'm really happy with that. But as you can see in the video of me in the bottom corner, I am struggling now. The power drops off from here dramatically down to about 190, 200 watts. I get a couple of minutes of recovery, well, probably about a minute and a half. And then, yeah, but I was in a lot of pain. You can see it now. You can see my face, it's almost as red as my jersey. So there's just a minute and a half left to go on this one now, and as you can see along the graph along the bottom, the power didn't drop off as bad as I thought actually. It did drop down into sort of zone 2 for a little while, but I sort of ramped it back up to just over 200 watts. Held it back up to around about 300 watts again for about 30 seconds. Then that's when it did dramatically drop down back into zone 1 for a little while, back up to zone 2, and then I thought, right, a minute and a half to go, let's try and just finish this out, see it through to the end, get it back up to 300 watts. So yeah, I was just pushing, and my legs were struggling, my lungs were hurting, breathing was getting really laboured. And again, it's, you know, the visual on Zwift really does show how your body does actually feel while you're going through one of these tests, and how you feel towards the end of these sessions. Yeah, my legs were obviously completely done at this point, but I was determined to do that last minute and a half, hold it for around 300 watts, try and keep that critical power as high as I possibly can. It's been a good test, one I have kind of enjoyed doing. I prefer this to doing an over-under session, which I absolutely detest those things, but I do understand that you have to do things like that. Really do have to push yourself beyond your limits sometimes. That's the only way that you're going to get any better. But yeah, it's dropping around, and as you can see, I have managed to hold this at a good steady sort of 300 watts, just under 297, and here we are coming up to the end, just pushing one last, keep going those pedal strokes, done. Yeah, sort of just drop to the bike onto the bars, and then it's like, oh no, hang on a minute, and now I've got to go into my recovery. Don't stop pedaling, because that's when the legs are just going to seize up. So pedaled away, got myself going again, but I was in a lot of trouble here. Didn't feel very good at all. Yeah, legs, lungs, everything was hurting, everything screaming at you to stop, but now it's just dropping it down. The watts have come down, as you can see here now. I'm into the last minute of this. 90 watts, yeah, just easing through it. I'm feeling a lot better now. Heart rate has dropped from, I think the high was around about 177, 178, somewhere around there. Heart rate has dropped back down to something a little bit more leisurely, to 137. So, yep, I enjoyed it. The results, I'm not sure what they're going to be. I'm kind of hoping that with the pulling 300 watts for 7 minutes rather than 5, I would like to think that my critical power has gone up. However, I know I spent more time in recovery on this session than I did in the last one. So whilst, yes, I pushed 300 watts for longer, I think I might have sort of screwed my critical power up by being in recovery for longer, and it's definitely at lower watts than I was in the last time. But that's it now. Session's over. Glad that's done. Right, it's a quick one before I'm going to get a shower. That was a critical power test, hour and a half nearly in total. The main block was 12 minutes at 300 watts. My FTP is 260. So I managed 7 minutes at 300. I have to drop it down for a bit of a rest. I did go back up to 300 for about a minute, dropped it down for a bit of a rest. And then the last minute and a half, I managed to keep it at 300 watts again to finish it off. But yeah, we'll see what my critical power actually is again. I think it was my 5 minute power was 285 watts last time I did one of these, about 2 months ago. So it'll be interesting to see where I am now after the little Christmas layoff. So yeah, I'll have a look, gonna have a shower, get some dinner, and then I'll have a little bit of a look and see where I am, see when I feel human again. It is actually a couple of days now since I did that critical power test, but I've been a little bit busy and haven't had a chance to get around to doing this. So like I said earlier in the video, my critical power when I did this back in the beginning of December was at 285 watts. Now since then, you know, it's been the Christmas, I had a little bit of a layoff, been a little bit ill, and it's come out at 279. So I've dropped 6 watts in my critical power. However, I'm not too worried about that, because what I have done, and the last time I did this test, I only held in the 12-minute block, I only held 300 watts for 5 minutes. This time I held 300 watts for 7 minutes before I had to start having a bit of a recovery in that. So for that, I don't really mind. So it's not really worrying me, and I'm sure I'll get those other 6 watts back up to my, you know, to take my critical power back up to 285 and hopefully then beyond. So yeah, all in all, a good test. It absolutely demolished me though, completely finished me. My legs were absolutely killing me after that one. But it was a good workout, something good to do. And this morning I did a little bit of a Zwift ride on the Glasgow crit circuit, and I thought I'd have a little bit of a sprint session. A few little practices on my sprints there. So I had about 6 laps, had 4 sprints on there, just ready for, you know, once we start the crit racing again at Darley Moor. Sprinting hasn't been my strong point. Obviously, you know, I'm coming up to 53 years of age next month, so I'm racing against people who are half my age, so I need to try and get a little bit more speed in my legs for the sprint. So I did manage to take a green jersey and held it for about 5 minutes before somebody came along and took that off me. I think I managed just over 14 seconds, and then somebody came along in 12 seconds, 12.95 seconds. So yeah, but I enjoyed it. I held the green jersey for a short while. So tomorrow I had been looking at going out on the road, but it's given out for sort of 23, 24 mile an hour winds tomorrow, and I don't really fancy that. I'm a bit of a wuss when it comes to wind like that. So I'm thinking I might try tackling the 4 Horsemen course on Zwift again. I tried that about 5-6 weeks ago, and sort of a third of the way up Alpe d'Huez, I just had to give in. I'd gone too hard on the climbs earlier, sort of pushing too many watts, and by the time I got to Alpe d'Huez, or Alpe de Zwift, my legs had gone. So I'll have another go at doing that tomorrow morning. And hopefully we can start getting out on the road and do some videos out on the road in the beautiful countryside around Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire. Make these videos a little bit more interesting than just the Zwift training rides. But anyway, that's it for now. Hope you've enjoyed it. Oh, and actually, quickly, as I mentioned at the start of the video, really surprised that Instagram reel took off, and I think it was about 25,000 views. I think it was at 16,000 actually when I first spoke about it. It's now over 60,000 views. I'm absolutely blown away by how this video's taken off. You know, it's my first post on my Craig Goes Cycling Instagram account, and it's just gone mental. So the thing is, it's all downhill for me now. I'm never going to recreate that kind of attention on Instagram, but you know, I'll keep plugging away at the account, keep posting stuff on there. And if you do enjoy that, if you want to have a look at that video and you haven't seen it, I will post the link down in the description on this video. So have a watch of that. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, take care, ride safe.